Question 1170. Why should we not have unrestricted sports leagues that allow for the use of any performance-enhancing drugs or procedures?
Oh boy, that's a controversial one.
I don't know.
I'm just gonna say that if this goes into this fucking argument that got everybody riled up this year, I'm fucking tapping out now.
What argument got everyone riled up this year?
Last year, rather.
Could you ask the question again, please?
I'm pretty sure the WWE is pretty cool with using whatever drugs you want to get as big as you want to kick as much ass as you want, even though it's big.
God says, "Ooh, I'm all for a drugged-up Olympics."
I mean, how about we have two different leagues or whatever? One where you can use whatever drugs you want, and one where it's actually fair.
That's what's being suggested. This is the point. We have leagues, and you can have a league. You know, I wanted a word that was generic across sports, and leagues was the best I could come up with. It could be class or whatever, but you still have all the classes you've got now, and then you've got the one where you can do whatever the fuck you like.
And I will say, man, when you say WWE, how much do you want to stretch the definition of the word sport here?
No, that's what I'm saying. I mean, it's not real, but they still do use their bodies.
I mean, to be fair, it is a sport. I mean, you know, in that respect, and it is very physical. It's extremely physical.
This is the chat. WWE is not a sport; it's acting. And God says, "I'd love to see how fast we can actually run, given the right drugs."
What you end up having with something like this is it's a legality issue, because if you end up with a lot of people that would die. And the people that own the sports teams would be on the hook for those deaths.
Yeah. Well, what if like they sign a waiver before that says like we are not responsible in any way? You
can't sign away liability.
You can.
I mean,
you can sign away liability in that case.
I mean, actually, again, joking aside there, but what Manda said a couple of minutes ago there, WWE. How many of those fuckers have ended up dying like in their early 40s?
Oh, they all die.
How many football players get concussions? If you want to talk about
CTE,
real sports,
yeah.
How many hockey players lose their teeth and also get concussions and shit? Like, it's sports are already fucking dangerous. Okay.
How many entertainment people die at the age of 27?
Yeah,
but that's not. They didn't die because of the years of abuse to their body, though. They died because they decided to use drugs in a bad way and overdose. These are, you talk to someone like Robert Reed, who will tell you that all the football players, ex-football players that they're all fucking broken. There's nothing. You end up on opiates or just in pain the rest of your life. There's, I think, something like 90% of the people coming out of the NFL have that concussive disorder, like
CTE, yeah.
But the NFL isn't barbaric or anything. It's fine.
I know, right?
The way it is. This guy.
But if people choose to do that to themselves, fine.
Yes,
sure. And if it entertains us.
Well,
what does it say about us?
I mean, to be fair, we're going back 10, 15 years ago. A lot of things like a lot of the damage, like what we know about concussions. I think most people with any sense knew getting a lot of concussions wasn't good for you. But like CTE, people didn't know what the fuck that was.
No, they've come a long way with that, but. I think another problem too you have with you think about stuff like roid rage, in the heat of the moment, you're going to end up with people being overly strong and overly aggressive and killing each other in the middle of sports. So,
well, again, that's why you have like a league where it's like you sign that away. It's like I'm fully accepting the risks. I might fight someone who's roided out. I might go up against someone who could kill me. Like it would be like the extreme. I mean, I've long thought like the way sports are set up need to be restructured. I know there's the fucking transgender sports debate, and
that was the one I was. That was the one I was trying to avoid.
That's what you were trying to avoid. But the point is, this went nowhere near that.
Well,
yeah.
Well, I'll go near it. You guys don't have to comment.
Technically, it is procedures, Dave, I suppose, because
that's one hell of a going down the route of. Go on, sorry.
My solution is we need to have like fuck this like men and women's sports. We need to have like sports separated into different classes based on people's body types, body weights, and all that. And then like if you want to add another like just a free for all league where anyone could join and do anything they want, like that's fine. If people want to like, I don't see the problem with that, you know.
Like a skill level instead of what's between your legs.
That's exactly.
Has nobody else ever thought of that?
Oh, the problem is it's the same problem with sailing. Okay, I'm someone that's sailed all my life, right? And the problem is to watch it as a spectator sport, it is too complicated for most people to watch, and that's the problem with most sports that have classes. The majority of people want a sport where people kick the shit out of each other or kick a ball that's simple. And I completely agree. I am all for classes. I'm just not convinced it'll work.
Yeah, I mean, the thing is, a lot of the times people go to, and again, I didn't really want to go onto the whole trans thing in sport, but like, I remember people losing their shit about Fallon Fox a few years ago, the MMA fighter. Trans MMA fighter, but you know what happened there. Then she got fucking beat, you know. But you know it was a first, and the thing is, especially if we talk combat sports, especially professional combat sports, there's always been a level of fucking manipulation shit that goes on with that.
I mean, well, this is the thing, isn't it? If you believe what's going on in sports anyway, this is already going on.
Yeah.
Across many sports. We're just not privy to exactly how much.
I mean, sports are all rigged. It's all bullshit. It's all bullshit.
There's no interest. Does anyone here actually like any sports?
Yeah, everything.
How many teams take a dive? We all know this happens. We know there's cheating. We know there's...
I'm the one person here who fucking loves sports.
Apart from Jeff, does anyone like sports?
No.
No.
I'm more interested in keeping stuff fair and safe for everybody, and that's why I think like having a system where we have classes and then we can have like the ultimate class where it's like anything goes, you know? And if people want to watch that extreme shit, fine. If people would rather watch someone in a lower class, because there would be people like, you know, like just like the WNBA is mostly viewed by like women who.
The problem is,
watch, like,
would there be pressure?
play basketball.
Would there not always then be pressure to take the drugs to go into that class because those people are going to get paid more?
I mean, there would be, but there also would be that inherent risk along with it where it's like, okay, I'm going to this class, but I could die, you know?
I mean, that's a sort of parity I'd like to see more equal in sport is actually pay. But especially now seeing as, you know, like, you know, there is like a followings in the UK now for women's soccer. I wouldn't mind seeing a little bit of fucking parity there.
That's because the women's soccer team actually win. Let's catch up on the chat.
Yeah, and they get paid fuck all. And the men who lose every fucking week get paid like 150 grand a week.
Richard says, because the athletes would kill themselves too often to support their sports, heart attacks kablooey. Steve says, next stop, genetically engineered athletes. Less risk. IQ says, the crackheads would go undefeated for years. Cadence said, Rally used to have... Oh, I've lost it. I'm so far behind. Cadence says, Rally used to have an unrestricted league class, and it was awesome. But that's the cars hopped up on drugs, not the drivers. Say again?
You are fucking really far behind in the chat.
I know!
Well, I actually really like that point, yo. The crackheads would win. Dude, it would just become like the league would just be basically which drug is the best, you know?
Yeah.
Which drug is the best.
Seriously, do you seriously want to see people on a bunch of meth heads doing curling?
I don't think it would help meth heads with curling.
well, we'll see.
I don't know. I think meth heads curling I don't know. There's a curiosity factor there.
I want to know.
I mean,
Meth versus crack. Let's find out.
Yeah. I think there's some.
I'm gonna have to skip some things.
Dave, I've been told in the chat to tell you to move the fuck on. They've had an entire conversation and you've missed
Can I
it.
just say?
And I've missed
I'll
it.
say one last thing, but then I'll shut up. But
Go on.
yeah, there's. I mean, there is a lot of corruption in sports, whether it be football, boxing, whatever. And apparently, I heard today even tennis is a racket now.
Oh, that's terrible.
There's
God,
corruption literally everywhere. That's the world we live in, guys.
You actually held up the whole show just for that.
Yes.
They should be
For
embarrassed.
the worst joke of the yeah.
Snooker on steroids would make it slightly interesting. I'm not convinced.
I think snooker needs hooliganism. That would make it way more.
I want to see full
interesting.
contact golf.
Man, I
Full
used
contact
to love
golf.
snooker, and then when I turned about 30, 31, I started to fall asleep watching it. So I don't know if it got boring or I got old, but I miss snooker.
God says, warning, we do not expect responsibility for another fighter beating you to death and our referee not being able to stop him because he's got the power of a gorilla. Please sign here.
I mean,
Right, okay.
you know
I
what
think
you're getting into.
Does everyone think it's a good idea in theory? Is there anyone against it?
No. I'm for freedom, yo. Libertarian socialist over here. Let people do what they want.
If they're gonna keep records and have things like most hits, most runs, most whatever, then no, I don't think they should allow sports. And if they want to give up all that record keeping and just have sport for the sake of sport, go ahead, take whatever you want.
I mean, I'm intrigued as to why we don't allow killing now. Why we don't allow
Killing?
a Thunderdome.
I think we're pretty close.
You think we're pretty close?
We might as well. Come on.
The
Football
point is, if you've
dangerous as fuck.
got nothing to lose and your payout is going to be £10 million for your family, whether you would win or lose,
I
would
think
you not go in?
MMA is coming pretty close to that.
Could we bring back some old sports like like Christian versus Lion MMA?
Yes. That sounds fun. In Minecraft.
A touch barbaric, apparently.
Minecraft.
I'm gonna have to have the Thunderdome as a question at some point, I think. If you enjoyed that, please hit the thumbs up button. If you didn't, hit the thumbs down. If you think you've got a better answer or just want to tell us how wrong we are, leave a comment down below. Subscribe down here for new questions every day and make sure you hit the bell so you don't miss out on our live shows. If you click over here, you'll see our latest upload. Over here, for what YouTube thinks you'll love the most. And finally, for a complete playlist of all our currently released questions, click here.